looks, I've tentatively given it a 4 out of 10 or a 2 out of 5. And the average rating is currently 4 stars. Now, yeah, everybody seems to fucking love this episode on release. And, like, I do get why. But, yeah, I do understand why people don't like this. Oh, sorry, I do understand why people like it, but it didn't really work for me. And I think my arguments with looks are going to be a bit more subjective than they were on Robot Revolution. Like, objectively, from a consistency standpoint, Robot Revolution is just poo. Like, it is just fucking awfully written. Louise, the Rat Warrior, says, I could see that since, man, a fair bit of the prior seasons have been more glaringly worse. Robot Revolution, though, is a fair bit more on the worse side. So it is. It is bad. Yeah, looks. Pacing is definitely better in this one and in The Well. So the concept of, like, you know, a light monster that, you know, infects, you know, comes into a cinema and brings a cartoon character to life. That's cool. That's a cool idea. I like the idea. And, like, from a spectacle standpoint, I understand why people like this episode. Like, as a spectacle, it's pretty interesting, right? Like, because the Doctor gets put into film reel, like, it's interesting. Yeah. There's the thing to note about the little thing the Doctor's mentioned about, like, the racism of the time period to Belinda, how he's, like, whatever he said, toppled worlds, blah 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 blah. I thought that was a really, really well done way of handling that. That was a good interaction. I liked that. Yeah. So, well, my main criticisms of looks are sort of just going to be, like, the logistics of, like, how a light god works, and then also the scene that everybody's fucking talking about. But yeah, let's just talk about looks. Looks as a god to begin with. So, I've probably expressed this before, but, like, I really don't like the whole gods thing. And it's not even a particularly difficult issue to tweak in my mind. Like, I just don't like the fact that we're being told canonically that these, you know, Sutek and Maestro and the Toymaker and Lux are gods. I just don't like that. I think, like, I just much prefer Doctor Who to just be sci-fi, like, for things to have sci-fi explanations. And the thing is, it's really easy to do this. You don't have to change anything about the abilities that these characters have for me to be fine with them, right? You don't have to even do that. All I want is something like the Doctor refers to say the Doctor refers to Lux as the god of light, and then Belinda's like, what? So gods really exist? And then the Doctor's like, well, God is just a point of view. Like, people will see these guys as gods, but, you know, they're not necessarily, like, objectively gods. I just want something like that. Just, like, it's not necessarily a god, it's just a creature that has crazy abilities. It's a unique creature with crazy abilities, and people will see them as gods, people will label them as gods, but they're not, like, gods. They're not necessarily objectively gods. That's what I want. Louise the Rat Warrior says, like, comparing Lux to Robot Revolution is night and day. It's much more to the point and much more focused. I would have a harder time saying it's in the top for New Who as a whole. Yeah. Lux is definitely much better crafted. Because, yeah, I think my arguments for Lux are a bit more subjective. Like I said. I didn't hate it. Like I said, I completely get why people like this episode, but I don't hate it, but I just think it's kind of bad. But yeah, so I have a problem with gods, the existence of, like, the gods in the first place, the gods of the pantheon. I don't like it, especially because of how much of a fucking egregious disappointment Sutek is at the end of the last series. It's like, if he's the god of death, why the fuck should I be scared of the god of light? If the god of death, you could just chuck a lead over him and fucking push him out the TARDIS, you know what I mean? But yeah, I also sort of think that, you know, he's a light god. He can, and if he can like imprint Belinda and the Doctor into film, you know, turn them animated or whatever, I just sort of think, like, I just sort of think they shouldn't really be able to get out of that situation. Like, all the stuff where they're sort of like, you know, trying to become more more real characters or whatever they say, or where they're trying to like push open the top of the screen or push it sideways. I just thought that was kind of stupid because it's light. Like, it's not, you can't do, why would that work? You know what I mean? Why the fuck would that work? It just doesn't make sense to me. It makes sense that he could turn the Doctor into a character. Yeah. And then the other thing to say is, like, he's the god of light, right? But I don't think, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it ever says he's the god of like stories or film or anything. He's the god of light. I think that's all he's the god of, right? So presumably that means he can manipulate light and nothing else. Yeah? Perhaps. But like, I don't know, like, is he able to read people's minds? I don't know. Cuz like right, we're getting onto the fourth wall break, right? The fourth wall break scene with the Doctor Who fans, right? Now, one thing I will say is I'm very glad that they didn't like hard commit to that, to like actually having Doctor Who fans be canon in Doctor Who. They do say that the Doctor Who fans aren't actually real and that they're just like, you know, the Doctor and Belinda are just seeing them, but they're not real. It's like, oh, imagine if Doctor's life was a TV show, haha. Now, I assume the episode is telling us that Lux, the god of light, is the one who's created this like reality where the Doctor's life has a TV show about him. You know, I assume that's the case. He's invented these Doctor Who fans because he's the one who's put them in the reel. He's the one who's put Belinda and the Doctor into this situation. But why would he know that? Like, why would he? Like, how could the like? I think. I mean, yeah. Basically, the crux of it is, yeah. Like, I feel like it sort of makes no sense that Lux would know to come up with a situation like that. But the main issue really is just like, why would you do a fourth wall break? Like, I don't think a fourth wall break is a good idea in anything, unless it's comedy. And by that I mean, like, if you want me to maintain my suspense of disbelief while I'm watching something, if you want me to feel immersed, you can't really break the fourth wall. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, other people might not really give as much of a fuck, I suppose, but I do. I don't think they should do that. Louise says, yeah, I feel it would be more accurate God made of light, but I can understand that, or maybe God of the light. Yeah, like, yeah, the thing with having these big God characters is you need to like really, because they're so powerful, you sort of need to tell us, you need to make sure it's clear like what they can actually do, right? Otherwise it's going to feel cheap when they get defeated, which it sort of does every time. To be honest. Like, what? Didn't Maestro get, like, what happened to Maestro? She got, like, pulled into a piano. The Toymaker lost the game of fucking catch. Sutek was put on a lead. And Lux, the god of light, dies because there is too much light on him. Can we talk about that for a second? Now, is he the god of light dies because he sees too much light? Are you serious? What are you talking about? Like, I sort of understand the idea is that, like, he's, you know, he can concentrate, he stays in dark areas because he can concentrate his light there. He can sort of control it. But if he's the god of light, then he should be able to fucking manipulate whatever light he wants, surely. But I guess not. I don't know. But yeah, the fourth wall break. Like, you know, I feel like, look, the fourth wall break is the type of thing, with the Doctor Who fans, it's the type of thing you do in a parody, right? It's the type of thing you do in comedy, the type of thing you do in parody. It's not the type of thing that you do in a show where you actually want the audience to give a fuck about the stakes of the show. That's what I think, anyway. Yeah, and I also think, oh, whatever. What were they talking about? All three of them, their favourite episode is Blink. That's not very realistic. Come on. Because the thing is, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would have said that, like, Blink is probably the favourite episode for normies, right? Like, a lot of casual viewers probably see Blink as their favourite episode. I would have thought that, like, lots of people who are, like, you know, hardcore Doctor Who fans, most likely Blink's not their favourite episode. I could be wrong, but that's what I suspect. Yeah, the fan scene is a bit of a choice. I don't think it's the worst, but it's just like there. I would say it's the worst of taking the idea, the story is goofy, but too much. Yeah, going too much with it. Yeah, I agree. It's too. Yeah, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done that at all. But the thing is, with Mrs. Flood, we know with the Mrs. Flood build-up, we know that there's going to be some massive like fourth wall break bullshit in the reality war, and I mean, the Review of Death podcast were talking about this. Like, imagine if imagine if the Doctor goes into the writing room and talks to fucking RTD. Like, I think I'd just game end myself at that point. Like, like Doctor Who's never been the most super serious show ever, but generally it's supposed to sort of like at least take itself seriously enough that like it respects the fact that it takes place in its own fictional world that's supposed to be believable. You know, it's supposed to be consistent and believable theoretically, but I guess fucking not. I don't know. But yeah, like all three of those fans, their favourite episode is Blink, and then one of them says "Rip Doctor Who." To be fair, you know what? I would have found it really funny if one of them's like, the Doctor pops out the TV, and then one of them's like, "Holy shit! Get away from me! You're too woke. You'll infect me with the woke mind virus." Hashtag Rip Doctor Who. Sorry, my headphones just fell off my PC at the worst time. Man, yeah, I can't even really remember the dialogue they had. It was like Shooty saying like, "Oh, what about my adventures? Weren't they any of your favourites?" And then no, apparently, and then they weren't, which is, yeah, I mean, I do like Blink more than every single episode from RTD. I can agree with that. But yeah, what else is there to say about Lux? I think Belinda really seems to. I was really hoping we'd get at least a few episodes of Belinda like butting heads with the Doctor and not trusting him, but it seems like she just trusts him now, like pretty much instantly. In this episode, it feels like she trusts him, and I don't think that's warranted, because you know, in the scene where they're cartoons and they have to sort of explain, you know, emotional baggage they have in order to become more, you know, more three-dimensional characters, right? You know, that feels like, I guess narratively it makes sense, but that felt like a really shoehorned in way of doing character work, and it just didn't really work for me. But yeah, Belinda seems like she's happy to just trust the Doctor now, which I'm kind of sad about, because I thought like Belinda as a character had the most potential out of anything that's been introduced so far this series. I still think so. I still think that, like, yeah, Belinda. Yeah, if we're gonna get anything good this series, it's gonna be like Belinda. But can't really say I think we're gonna get anything that good. Uh, yeah, bit of a poo one. Also, little pighead man didn't really die. He's just expanded to the universe infinitely to the point he's maybe even expanded out of our universe, which is a little weird. It feels like Pighead Man should have been more explained as a being of light sort of deal. Yeah, well, yeah, like, I know he didn't, like, technically die, like, he just expanded because of the light, but it's like, I just sort of think, if you're the god of light, that shouldn't just happen to you. You should just be able to not do that if you want to, right? You know? And yeah, that's the problem. Like, no, I mean, that's the other thing with including god characters in something like this. Like, the Doctor's not powerful in that way. He's not powerful in that way, so he can't really fight with a god. Yeah, he can't really fight with a god like that. Like, he shouldn't have been able to defeat the god of light or the god of death. I don't know. I just don't even think I'd choose to make that story if I was in charge of this stuff. You know, just seems, I don't know, a bit stupid. But yeah, looks. I see what everybody liked about it, but I just don't think. I think, like, from a spectacle perspective, I understand why you like it, but in terms of actual, you know, does it work? Does it make sense? Is the story written in a consistent way? I don't think so. I don't think it really functions very well. Louise the Rat Warrior says, also, yeah, the companion is a little weird. I wouldn't say it's a her issue and more like a constant issue for a lot of companions. I think it's been an issue since late Matt Smith. Possibly. I just want to clarify that when I talk shit about these new eras of Doctor Who, and because I am being, you know, I mean, you could argue I'm being harsh. I don't think I'm being harsh. I think I'm being fair. But, like I said, I do think that the older eras of the show have lots of flaws as well. It's just that they also have lots of good things in them as well to sort of counteract it, which this new stuff doesn't so much. That's my opinion anyway. In terms of, like, characters, like, the RTD era, even there's so many episodes. The first RTD era, even though there's loads of episodes with shit plots, there's lots of episodes with good characters, and that's what saves it. There's lots of episodes with good characterization. Same thing even with the Moffat era. Even if there's not good characterization, there's at least, like, entertaining dialogue and entertaining, like, concepts for episodes and shit like that, right? Even if it's not executed super well. But yeah. The point, yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say is I'm not, like, super familiar with that stuff, especially the Moffat era. I really need to rewatch it, and I think when I do, I'll probably rate a lot of those stories lower than I have them rated on TARDIS Guide currently. So, the point I'm trying to make is I don't want you to think that I'm deliberately just ragging on the new stuff just because it's the new stuff. Like, I do want to do my best to be fair, right, to everything. But yeah, looks, fine. Well, I don't think it's very good. Let's check reviews. What's my review? Don't think I can get over the fourth wall breaking. Real shit. Let's go. Let's sort it by username. See what... Oh, fuck me. 10 out of 10. We can't... Nah. I want to read some of the low reviews. I want to read the low reviews. Here we go. I'm the lowest one. I'm the only person who's given us a negative review on the whole website. Oh my god. Okay, this is probably going to be unpopular then. Oh dear. This is the next lowest one. I liked a lot of what it was doing, but that scene was cringy and totally killed the pacing. The last minute extra regeneration energy setup that gets used almost immediately after also felt lazy. Oh yeah, the Doctor manages to save himself from Lux because he's got leftover regeneration energy because of bi-generation. That seems a bit OP, doesn't it? Does that mean the Doctor, like, can't get hurt? Or is that now gone? I feel like, you know... Well, we're like over 8... When was fucking the giggle? That's like... Yeah, that's like 10 episodes before Lux. Like, you still got the regeneration energy, bro. Like, there was at least a 6-month fucking time jump in the first series that we didn't see that. Oh, bro, stupid This one felt a bit like it was going to do something really interesting. It was a fake out, and it ain't as fun as Devil's Cord. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on whether I think it's better than Devil's Cord. I need to rewatch the first series, but the more I think about every episode of this series, the worse they get. It seems like I hated it. This seems like I hated it. Has a lot of good in there, just doesn't feel cohesive. It does not feel cohesive. I agree with that. Right, I'm not going to read any more reviews because clearly everybody disagrees with me, and I need pure echo chamber right here, boys. No, just kidding. If you disagree with me, you can say. I just don't want to spend the stream reading reviews, that's all. Louise the Rat Warrior says, Old Who used to have also the Celestials with Black and White Guardian. I don't recall it as well, so I can't say if it was good or not. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to... I need to rewatch... I'm going to rewatch all of Doctor Who for this big old ranking video, so then I'll be much more familiar with all of it. So I can be more informed when I'm comparing previous stuff, you know? The leftover regeneration is really weird. Yeah, it is very strange. Yeah. I think that's enough said about Lux. I feel like I have the least to say about this one. Let's move on.